Hello, my friend, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Daily. My name is Aaron Machbitz. AEW versus WWE. Which company is better? Who is better? And this conversation was sparked by Will Ospreay making some comments. And before I get into some of those comments, I absolutely love that Will Ospreay is standing up and backing AEW. It's the company he works for. He should absolutely be going to bat and standing behind AEW as the best company that it is. That's why Will works there. And Will Ospreay, yes, arguably it's an easy argument to make, is the best pound for pound in-ring competitor in the world. And so he puts together incredible, unbelievable matches. I mean, his work in New Japan Pro Wrestling is some of the best ever. And every time he steps out into the arena through the curtain at an AEW show, the fans go nuts. Now, there are other things, other characteristics, other traits about Will Ospreay that are not there yet to some of like the quote-unquote best wrestlers in the world, because he is arguably the best pound-for-pound professional wrestler, in-ring professional wrestler in the world. But his promos and his storytelling and some of that stuff, some of those other characteristics that really make someone a big-time draw, a money draw, Will Ospreay does not have. But it doesn't take away from anything that when he walks through the curtain at an AEW show, the fans go nuts. I go nuts. I love watching Will Ospreay wrestle, and I think the comments he made, I have no issues with the comments he made. He seems like a very honest guy, and he was just talking about AEW. He thinks AEW is better than WWE, and he was specifically really trying, I think, I don't know Will Ospreay, I don't know his intentions with this interview, but just based on what I've read, it seems that he was just trying to say that AEW, in-ring wise, is a better product than WWE. And I don't really think anyone at WWE would be upset about those comments, because for years, WWE has said they are not a wrestling company. They are sports entertainment. But WWE does produce some absolute classic matches. And I think one thing that just always differentiates WWE from AEW is the fact that WWE has been around for so long. There's a sort of nostalgia effect. Some of the greatest moments that have ever happened in the history of professional wrestling have happened with WWE. And since they've been around so long, they've produced some of the biggest stars that we've ever seen, and we're emotionally attached to those stars. So we'll just easily say that WWE is better. Now, I watch both products pretty regularly. I watch a little bit more WWE than I do AEW, but I love AEW for the simple fact that a lot of my friends, well, at least one of my friends, one of my best friends in the whole world who was a groomsman at my wedding, Wheeler Yuta, has a job in professional wrestling, a full-time job in professional wrestling, can take care of his family because of AEW. And there's tons of guys in that locker room at AEW and gals that I know at AEW that have a full-time job living out their dream because of AEW. And there's just no way that we can be upset about that. So I have every ounce of goodness that I want to happen towards AEW, and they have produced some of the best stories over the last couple of years. I mean, you look at Timeless Tony Storm and Mariah May is the best story of the last year. I mean, that's the best thing that AEW has produced since the start of their company, in my opinion. I mean, it's absolutely perfectly well done between both of those two wrestlers, performers. I think Timeless Tony Storm is one of the best in the world. Perfectly produced by everyone who helped make that possible. The matches, the videos, everything about that story was absolutely amazing. So you talk about AEW only being sort of a professional wrestling driven company, they put together that absolute masterpiece. I mean, and you also have Hangman Adam Page and Swerve. They've created a great story, and two big stars in those two guys. I mean, Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, however you want to call him, said that his best moment in wrestling was All In London when he won the championship and he got to share the ring with his family. I mean, even bigger than his WrestleMania 30 moment. I mean, that just goes to show you what it feels like for some of these guys to work for AEW. Now, we know some of the stuff backstage culture-wise. CM Punk has stated some of this stuff that goes on maybe at AEW, and of course, sometimes they have illogical booking and things don't make sense, and they don't draw very well, and their houses haven't been very big, and some of those things are important, and they're losing money every single year, and all of that stuff, yes, goes into play. But those are some of the business culture structures that I can't really make a difference in. But yes, they're important to comment on because that goes to the overall sort of structure of AEW. But I want AEW to continue to exist and thrive as long as humanly possible, so that my friends have a job, can create memories, and can live out their dream. And also, so for wrestling fans, we can have a second option or a third option or a fourth option or whatever option AEW is for you. So if we get tired of WWE, we don't just go on the internet and complain and complain and complain. We go to this other product where there's great wrestlers and great performers and sometimes great stories. Yes, sometimes things don't make sense, and sometimes there's weird stuff happening, or this guy's just getting thrown in the mix, or there's just like random match. But then you're going to see like a Samoa Joe versus Claudio Castagnoli on an episode of AEW Dynamite. That's awesome. Or you're going to see a guy like Kevin Knight come into the scene where he's avoiding clotheslines by jumping over them. I mean, that shit is amazing. And it's really, really cool that happens. And I think Will Ospreay is good in saying, like, you want to stand up for the company that you work for. It's exactly like a sports team standing up for their player, or a wide receiver standing up for their quarterback. Like, you want to see that because it just enhances the culture. There's unity there, and that's very important. And then you have WWE, who's stated, thousands of times that they're not a wrestling company, but have produced some of the greatest wrestling moments in the history of the world. I mean, you just go back to the most recent episode of Monday Night Raw. I think it was on May 5th. They had 4 absolute banger matches. And then they had almost a perfect wrestling segment. I mean, anytime you have Paul Heyman out there doing what he's doing, he is the best ever at what he does. And then that leads to this fantastic match between Jey Uso and Seth Rollins, a beautiful finish that leads to more things, that gets you invested in the story. Now, yes, of course, WWE makes bad choices and illogical decisions and things that we don't appreciate. I mean, we had one of the greatest moments of all time with John Cena turning heel, and then they've dropped the ball with The Rock at WrestleMania and all of these things moving forward. But they still can produce some of these amazing moments. And what WWE does better than almost any company in the world, wrestling or not, is tell stories. That's why there's so many fans that are so deeply invested in this product, is because they've told these great stories that we're just so invested in that we cannot not watch. And WWE does that amazingly, and they also have some fantastic, fantastic professional wrestlers that are out there doing amazing, amazing work. I mean, Seth Rollins is one of the best in the world. Gunther, Ilya Dragunov, like these guys can actually go. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, like Roxanne Perez, like these people can absolutely go in the ring. I mean, you have a Nathan Frazier, you have a Penta, you have all of these people doing amazing work. And so, yeah, you can make this you can have this debate between AEW and WWE. I don't really think it's debate. It's a debate. WWE draws more, makes more money, has bigger houses, more exposure. Yes, AEW sometimes has like better actual professional wrestling matches, but WWE creates more moments and bigger moments. But you talk to, guys and gals from each company, and let's say we really, really enjoy working here potentially. I mean, and there's like a swap. Some people were stars in AEW that weren't stars in WWE. Some people, didn't make it in WWE that walked over to AEW and were stars. I mean, you can look at Ricochet and Swerve Strickland in AEW. They're absolutely stars in AEW, and they didn't really have much going on in WWE. That's fantastic for them. I think MJF has had a good run at AEW. He's kind of floundering now, not much to do. He's also kind of a carbon copy of like a sort of a standard heel that you might see, but he has a lot of charisma, and maybe he'll be in WWE one day, or maybe he wants to still carry that flag with AEW. You've seen some guys in WWE who weren't really well used in AEW. I mean, Penta's presentation in WWE has been fantastic. You see Rusev back and Aleister Black back, and Cody Rhodes came back to WWE and ran one of the best stories we've ever seen in that 2-year story of finishing the story and then winning the championship at WrestleMania 40 and all that stuff. I mean, that's amazing moments that it's created by just having options from AEW and WWE, by giving people, more options to work and how they want to express their talents and their gifts. I mean, these things are absolutely amazing. I mean, AEW has also produced some homegrown talent. I mean, Hangman Adam Page is absolutely incredible. I mean, this is like the important conversation that we could have. But what's most important is just watch what you enjoy. And then you go back to Will Ospreay saying, he is a better wrestler on his worst day than everyone in WWE. That's probably not true. On his worst day, probably not. But I understand what he's saying. He's talking with confidence. He's saying that he's really, really confident in his abilities to have great matches. But there's WWE produces some fantastic, fantastic matches and has some really good in-ring performers that can really, really, really go. And I think if you want to consider Will Ospreay, the best in the world, you have to put the caveat that it's about the in-ring performance, because being the best in the world is about, yes, your in-ring performance, the moments you create, the stories, the fans, but it's really about how much money you draw. And based on the houses that AEW draws, Willie Ospreay is not the best in the world. If you're going off that metric, it's Roman Reigns, because he is the biggest ticket mover in professional wrestling today. Roman Reigns is the biggest ticket mover in professional wrestling today. Triple H mentioned that heading into WrestleMania season. And Roman Reigns has put together some of the best matches and moments in the history of professional wrestling as well. He's one of the greatest to do it. He is still the biggest ticket mover in professional wrestling today, more than anyone in AEW. And so you have to think about those things as well when you're considering who's the best in the world. But if you're only looking at an in-ring product, yes, AEW is fantastic. But what draws people into the in-ring product is the stories, the backstories, the investment, the emotions, and then it builds and builds and builds in there. Again, look at Timeless Tony Storm and Mariah May. Unbelievable stuff. And then it got even enhanced because of the outside stories and narrative and everything they were creating. The in-ring performances got enhanced, and that's what WWE is really good at. They'll emotionally invest you into the narrative, into the story, then everything in the ring looks that much better. And so this debate can go on forever. I don't really think it's a debate because it seems like AEW and WWE have two separate goals when it comes to their professional wrestling, because WWE says they're not a wrestling company. AEW says they're definitely 100% an in-ring wrestling company, but each company could probably take a little bit from each other, and you can see how that works. And I think this is a cool debate because it allows, again, more people to have jobs, fans to have more options, and we can really, really just watch what we love. Because we all love professional wrestling. That's what Will Ospreay loves. He loves professional wrestling, and I'm so glad he's having AEW's back. And now as fans, we can watch what we like. We can go watch a story-driven, WWE show where John Cena is the heel and wrestling Randy Orton one last time, or we can go see, Okada and Kevin Knight have a banger, or we can go watch Will Ospreay, or we can go watch Hangman Adam Page and Swerve and MJF and all these people. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful time to live in as a professional wrestler. And if you really, really want to just watch a total in-ring product, only wrestling, I encourage you to go to a local independent professional wrestling show where you can see sort of the next generation of superstars. And it's an amazing time to be a wrestler, amazing time to be a wrestling fan. And so I just wanted to talk about this pseudo, AEW, WWE debate, quote unquote, based on Will Ospreay's comments. And those are my thoughts and opinions on it. I'm just shooting from the hip here. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Agree, disagree. Would absolutely love to hear from you. And make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Lots of love. Cheers.